In the name of the Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Pope Shenhua III of St. Marcus Patriarch, Alexandria. In video part 2, we talked about Saul envy from David started when he killed the mighty Goliath. Today, we will talk about Goliath and move forward in David's life. The Bible describes Goliath as the most well-known giant. He is the enemy warrior. He is described as a champion out of the camp of the Philistines, who threatens and challenges Israel troops who dare to fight him. A man-to-one-man challenge. And the one who wins, then this winner, troop is the winner. Goliath challenged and Israelians for 40 days. And no one could take the challenge. Saul or his troops leaders, nor his soldiers, could take the challenge of giant Goliath. They were dismayed and terrified. When did these 40 days ended? When David appeared. David's brothers were soldiers in the troops, and Jesse, his father, sent him to check his brothers and come back to his father to assure him their safety. David heard the challenge and daring of that Goliath, and he was jealous. Who is that person who dares to humiliate the troops of God? Chivalry and jealousy had filled David's heart. David asked the Israeli troops about this Goliath, and they told him that the one who will take the dare and fight, and if he won, the king Saul will give him a rewards and give his daughter Michal a wife to him. David was not caring about this rewards. He cared about how such a person thinks he can defy the armies of living God. It is a holy jealous. When Eliab, his elder brother, heard David speaking with the soldiers, he burned with anger at him, and that he left the sheep in the wilderness, and accused him of his wicked heart as the reason for his coming was to see the battle. Eliab, the oldest brother, could not dare Goliath challenge, is trying to challenge the young David. Eliab accused David for his ego. Eliab, where is this ego in David's heart? David is a man who have jealous for troops and people of living God. Eliab is a sample of person who don't work but who is always criticized. The person who works have no time to criticize others. Eliab accused David, as in his heart he knows that God anointed David and refused Eliab. Same as Saul, the refused king from God, challenged David. But David says, thy servant to the refused king Saul, refused from God, who is hunted by evil spirits, the weak, where David plays on the harp to calm down his soul. Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. How are you, David, so humble in your inner soul? You are the anointed king of Israel now. David did not lose time in arguing with Eliab. He has more important issue here, to save the troops of living God. He had chosen the weak people to conquer the strong ones. David did not lose his respect to Saul, the king anointed by God. Although what he saw from Saul, all people talked about Goliath, the rewards given by Saul to the winner. No one mentioned God's words while we see. David repeated the word of living God in many times. He should defy the armies of the living God. Seeing he hath defied the armies of the living God. He always mentioned the word of living God. Some people, when they face a problem, they forget to pray to the name of God. and all what they speak about is the problem, only the problem. Then said David to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand. This is a talk of someone who has faith and believe in God. As we see in Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it, and is safe. The mistake we all fall into is that when we face a problem, we don't include God in it. We focus only on the problem. We depend on our skills only. Try to say like David, for the battle is the Lord's. Also, when Moses had a fight with Amalek, means giants, he said, Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Don't be in a problem and God is not with you. Put God in front of the problem. David did not went to Goliath with a sling and with a stone, but rather he went with living God name in his heart and on his mouth. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. As for Saul, he started to envy David as a conqueror. And after his killing to Goliath, Saul became more afraid of David, and Saul became David's enemy continually. This problem faces the righteous people. They are hated by others, envied by them. God did not forbidden tribulations in David's life, but he was with him supporting against these tribulations. God allowed Isuiel to chase David from wilderness to Anathor, from a city to Anathor city. But God did not deliver David to Saul's hands, did not deliver his soul to Saul to kill him. Life of David was in hands of living God, not in Saul's hands. Why God permitted David to pass through all these aggressions? God replies, I am training him to make him own a strong heart. He is young, beautiful looking, a blonde, with beautiful eyes. So, I will make him pass through all these conspiracies, wars, and tribulations from all people around him. So, he become more stronger, so he can lead my people as a king of Israel. I will let him see how God's hands is with him. So, he will say later on in his Psalms, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick when their wrath was kindled against us. Then we see him praise, Blessed be the Lord, my strength which teacheth my hands to war, and my fingers to fight. As in part 1, we said that God trained him when he was shepherd how to keep his sheep safe from the lion and the bear. And God also trained him through tribulations when he became a soldier then a king. God, why all this long time to train him? God replies, I wanted to teach him to wait for God. God will come, but we don't know the time. But what we are sure about that he will come. Even in the last moment in the fourth watch of the night. To teach him to wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Every one of us has Saul in his life. Don't be afraid. The most crucial here is to have God in your heart. Deliver to him your problems. Saul has no power on your spirit or soul. Look for God's will in your life, not Saul conspiracies. Saul started to put plans with his troops leader on how to kill David, but killing of David was not God's will. And we see David in the cave where he had the chance to kill Saul when he was sleeping, but David only cut part of his robe as an evidence that he could hurt him, but he did not commit this crime. Because Saul is, for he is the Lord's anointed. Know thou and see that there is neither evil nor transgression in mine hand. And I have not sinned against thee, yet thou huntest my soul to take it. The Lord judge between me and thee, and the Lord avenge me of thee. But mine hand shall not be upon thee.